Hi and welcome. In today's video, we're going to focus first on bringing some color to my face. Cheek color comes in several different shades, typically ranging in the red and orange families. The pop of color can provide a healthy glow and give your face more balance. You can find cheek color in cream, powder, and mineral forms. Cheek color comes in warm and cool tones. So when picking out a color, you want to consider your undertone. Using the wrong color or the right color can make or break your look. A really easy rule of thumb is just to match your cheek and your lip color together. And remember, you don't have to apply your lipstick directly to your cheeks, although you can, and that can look beautiful. But you can also apply part of your lipstick to the back of your hand, let it warm up, and add a little bit of your foundation to it. Once that's mixed, it will still give you the right color for your face and it will match your lipstick, but it won't be as intense. Now, there's a lot of debate and a lot of people, especially in social media, who are telling you where to apply your blush. I'm not going to debate any of that today. I'm just going to say place it where you feel like it looks good. And we'll debate on that another day, trust me. Next, let's talk about lips. Today I'd like to do a bold lip. And until I learned about clear lip liners, I would always begin my bold lip with a very similar color in lip liner. I would then line my lips with it and then apply the color. I have since learned that I can apply a clear lip liner very sloppily and blend it in with my finger, and then apply my lipstick without any problems whatsoever, and it's much faster. I think the biggest problem with a bold lip is that there's so many opportunities to mess up. Now you can do a beautiful eyeshadow application, but if you fall short on your eyebrows or you don't have the right shape, it will pretty much all be in vain. I am starting off with a brow mascara today. Those are different than a regular mascara. They're designed to cover up the little hairs and give them some color and also help them stay in place. Whereas if you're really crafty, you can actually use your mascara on your eyebrows, but chances are it's going to turn out pretty bad looking. Nevertheless, it can be done, but I prefer my brow mascara. Now you may already be blessed with eyebrows, and maybe you just have gray eyebrows or a few little sparse areas, and so I think a brow mascara is really ideal if you don't have a lot to do. In my case, I actually need to fill in a little bit more than just those areas where I already have those hairs. And here I'm just placing the brush in certain areas to make sure that my brows are where they're supposed to be. I've got tons of short videos to show you exactly how to do this, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here. I'm just going to say that there are 3 basic marks. And while I'm filling these in, I'm just going to tell you I do have an entire playlist that is dedicated and being dedicated in the future just toward eyebrows. So if you're lacking in eyebrows or your eyebrows are sparse or you have any eyebrow issues pretty much at all, go check those lists out. In the old days, I think my makeup probably looked pretty funny because I paid a lot of attention to just about everything on my face, with the exception of my eyebrows. And one day I realized that they are really a key piece of successful makeup. I think especially as we get older, it's really important to make sure that our eyebrows are defined and maybe even colored in, even if it's just a minimal amount of work that we do. You certainly don't have to do everything I'm doing. But just showing that our eyes are framed somehow will actually make our eyes look more beautiful and make us look more vibrant. If someone asked me what is the most important makeup tool you have in your arsenal, I would say Q-tips. By the way, I'm so sorry. I have two dogs in the background, and if you hear belching and other noises, those are my animals. Once I clean up around my eyebrows, I want to make sure that they are pretty well even. So I'm going to pull out my phone and take a selfie just like I do almost every time I do my brows. It only takes a second and it gives me that assurance that I'm not crooked. I'm not sure if it's just me or if everyone's like that, where when you look at yourself every day, everything seems like it's straight and it's not crooked. And then when you look at yourself in a photo, it's like, oh, I have a crooked nose and my eyebrows are lopsided and things like that. So let me know in the comments if you ever have that trouble. I swear for years I did not know that my nose slanted one direction. It's the funniest thing. Anyway, now that I am looking at that selfie, I'm kind of pointing to the side of my face to make sure that I understand which side I'm going with, because the selfie is going to be reverse of what I'm seeing in the mirror. So make sure that if you do that, you're looking at the reverse on your face as well. And on days when I'm trying to go really quickly or I'm just doing a very basic look, I'm not going to include this next step, which is underlining with a little bit of concealer. It's definitely not necessary, but I like the way it looks. It gives me a cleaned up look better than just how it looked with the Q-tip and the micellar water. And if you have steady hands and are able to do this, it certainly does make things look just a little bit neater. I like to use the smallest amount of concealer on a concealer brush, and this concealer brush I'm using actually comes to a very tiny little point, so you can do really intricate work with the tip, which is fantastic. Makes things so much easier when you have the right tool. And I'm not going to say that I'm a stickler for using the right tool for everything, but there are definite advantages sometimes, so just keep that in mind. I always think it's cool when I see people who give themselves names for their makeup channel, and they come up with all these really neat things. And I thought, well, what would people call me? Maybe the messy makeup lady, because my style is really just pretty quick and in a lot of ways messy. I really could be the messy makeup maven. What do you think? I don't know. If you can think of a better name for me, as long as it's polite, please put it in the comments. And of course, if you're enjoying this, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I always love to read your comments. You're so, so nice to me, and I really, really appreciate you. I've started using one of my favorite palettes. It's just called the Mighty Mattes. It's a nude palette, and it has all colors in the nude range, pretty much from a very pale white up to a black. Most of the colors are very, very light, so I'm just going slowly and taking my time because I don't want this to get too dark. This brand does not seem to have a lot of fallout, and even when I pack the pigment on there, it's not flying around in the air. And basically what I've done is added a pale pink, and then I'm starting to add the light gray colors. Once the gray is dark enough to make me happy and it actually looks like a contour, I will move on to using my eyeshadow as eyeliner. Now when it comes to eyeliner, I don't use a lot of pencils or liquids and not even the gel pots anymore. I can use them, but I've really fallen in love with using my eyeshadow. And you can use pretty much any eyeshadow and a little squirt of your setting spray and just mix it together to use it as an eyeliner. Now, if you're going to make your own eyeliner this way, of course you want to just mix what you need on hand. You don't want to mix it and try and store it. You just want to mix up what you're going to use, and you want it to get almost paste-like because setting spray has alcohol in it, and you don't want it to be too liquidy or it can seep into your eye, and that hurts when you get alcohol in your eye. As you can tell, I'm still adding layer by layer and blending as we go, and I will do that until I'm satisfied or get the color that I want. And there's no reason that you can't go slowly. It's probably going to look better if you add more light layers than if you just did a couple of layers. Now, for this process, I've been using a medium eyeshadow brush almost the entire time, and it works just perfectly for me. And then I'm going to pull out an angle brush for the next part. Angle brushes are flat and they're cut at an angle, like the name would suggest. And they are primarily used for eyebrow color and applying powder and gel liner around the eyes. But before we get to that angle brush, I'm just doing a final blend, and then I'm going to take that shadow and use it right down the sides of my nose as a little bit of a contour, and then under my cheekbones as well. I find that if you take one of your colors and you apply it on different areas of your face instead of just one specific spot, that it makes your face look more like a painting that goes together. Everything just kind of seamlessly flows. It all, nothing looks out of place. Compared to if I just put one, say, blue eyeshadow on and then didn't apply blue anywhere else except for on my eyes. I know a blue is kind of a strange one to choose, but honestly, you can work a little bit of blue into places that you would never imagine you could. I may make a video on just that. And now here comes my angle brush. You see that? It's a dense brush, but it's still got soft bristles, so it's not going to harm your eye. And then I'm going to take some of that color and I'm going to sweep it from the outward in. On my eye, I'm actually starting right about where my lashes end on the outside of my eye, and then I'm swooping them in toward my iris. Since I have a hooded eye, I want to make sure that that eyeliner, when I put it on, while I want it to give me a lifted look, it also has to tuck under all that flesh that's going to be over top of my eyelid when I'm relaxed. And there's really no reason why you couldn't start at the middle of your eye and work outward if that works better for you. However, for me, I have to start at the ending point and come inward so that I know exactly how far to go. And it's also not an area that I can blend out, so it won't really matter how much I blend that out because it's not going to be visible. And if I blend it out to the side, it's just going to hang over and look really bad. And I think this just comes down to your personal preference, and when you are polishing your eye looks, figuring out, exactly what looks good on you, because what looks good on me may not look good on you. Even if we have the same shaped eyes, same color eyes, you may put it on and you may feel ridiculous. Then again, you may put it on and feel ridiculously awesome. So you never can tell. I guess I decided to go with a felt tip eyeliner pen instead of using my own homemade eyeliner. That must have been another video. I promise I will get it together. And the important thing to note, no matter how you're going to try this, is to make sure you fill in all of that space. So it's like a little triangle sitting on the outside top of your lid. You want to fill in everything from the top all the way to your lash line. And depending on what shape your eye is in, you might have to stamp it in there instead of drag it. Or if you feel like you can drag that marker and do it that way, then do it that way. If it's too harsh, you can always just add a little bit of shadow over top. That will soften it right up. We're going to finish up here in just a minute, but I wanted to take a sec and just say thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you watching my video, and I appreciate your comments. If you have a question or need help with something you think I can help you with, definitely put that in the comments section. I will, of course, put all the products that I used in this video in the description, and I will also pin them in the top comment, with the exception of my hideous eyelash curler, which I will not be listing. Now, I'm finishing this off with my Estee Lauder mascara, which I dearly love. It's a nice thick formula and it's great for building volume and some length as well. But I'm feeling a little guilty about it because it was a gift and I hate to waste things, but I did not use all of this because I got trying other brands. That was my dog, by the way. I got trying other brands and forgot, that I had it. So mascara really needs to be tossed at around 3 months. So keep that in mind. You don't want to keep older mascara around because you can get... that's Herschel moaning in the background and yawning. But you don't want to get bacteria built up in there and then give yourself an eye infection. So it's best to toss it by the 3-month mark. While we're on the topic and Herschel's here to make noises with me, I will tell you that foundation is good for about 6 to 12 months, eyeshadow 12 to 18 months, lipstick 12 to 18 months, and lip and eye pencils 18 to 24 months. Now, if you don't have any skin sensitivities and nothing like that, you can definitely spray your powdered products down with a little bit of alcohol just to make sure that you've killed germs. I know people who have extended the life of a lot of their favorite makeup like that. But the main thing is just be aware that your makeup, once you buy it, is not supposed to last you forever. Now I'm just using the tiniest amount of concealer and cleaning up. This is very thin concealer and I'm just spreading it out to be very, very thin. If you do it like this and you feel self-conscious about having a straight line going up the side of your eye makeup, if you feel like that's just too harsh for you, just take a little bit of your foundation or your concealer on a sponge and just very lightly overlap it there to soften it up. We have some amazing things coming up in the next week, so I hope that you are all set for all kinds of great tips and tricks and hacks. Thanks for hanging out today. I'm Camille, and I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.